This is my ultimate all-black dream desk setup, designed for peak productivity, immersive gaming, and effortless content creation. And while we covered the build process in a previous video, it's now time for the full desk tour. If you're interested in anything you see in this video, I've got affiliate links to everything down in the description below. And if you're into desk setups, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Now, every great setup starts with a solid foundation. And for me, that meant creating a desk that was unique, custom fitted, and visually striking. Instead of a traditional desk in front of a flat wall, I wanted to use the angled wall in the office as a canvas. To add some depth and contrast to the space, I decided to install these slat panels to the wall. I think they add a sleek architectural backdrop that adds texture without being too overwhelming. For the desk, I had a very specific vision. I wanted it to run along this entire slat wall and give the illusion that it was going through the walls on each side. It also needed to be big enough for two distinct work zones, a main workspace on the left and a functional build/filming area on the right. To make that happen, I picked up a 12-foot red oak butcher block top from a local hardware store for about $300, and with the help of my dad, cut the edges at similar angles to create that built-in floating look. Instead of altering the wood permanently, I wrapped the entire desk surface in a black carbon fiber vinyl. It was cheap, easy, and completely reversible, which is great if I ever want to bring back the natural wood and stain it. The desk is supported by these metal cross legs I found on Amazon, and while the desk does feel very sturdy, per your recommendations in the comments, I added a black support leg in the center, to eliminate any potential sagging over time. Let's shift now real quick to another important part of any setup, the lighting. It's what truly brings a setup to life. And because everything in here is black, it would give me the freedom to use any accent color. I chose white for the contrast. I installed a nano leaf lines kit on the slat wall behind the monitor. They're modular, and while they originally came in white, I had some leftover carbon fiber vinyl from the desk, so naturally, I wrapped them to match. The result was a clean, low-profile look that adds subtle ambient lighting without being too distracting. Next, I added a Govee neon light rope behind the desk to create a soft, diffuse glow. But then I wanted to do something more interesting, so I installed a second neon light rope vertically on the slat wall to visually divide the two zones of the desk. After installing it, I realized there were a couple things I didn't like. First, the light stood out too much because the slat walls weren't deep enough. And on top of that, the white light it produced looked off. It looked kind of like a bluish purple, which wasn't the look I was going for. I then realized that these lights were RGBIC and didn't have any white LEDs in them. Luckily, Govee reached out and sent me their Cobb Strip Light Pro, which was RGBIC-W. That meant it had dedicated white LEDs which helped it produce better whites, and the light strip was also much flatter, which is what I was looking for. You can also customize the light at various points to customize the length. Over on the right of the setup, I installed a top-down key light above the workspace. This is the Amaran F21X flexible LED light, and it serves two purposes: giving me better visibility while working, and creating professional quality lighting for filming and product shots. It also connects to their Sidus Link app, which lets me control it from my iPhone or iPad. I mounted it to the wall using an adjustable bracket that would let me extend, tilt, or rotate it depending on what I need. Now, let's move over to the main workstation. This is where I spend most of my time working remotely and creating content. For the monitor, I needed something that could do it all, and I wanted it to be OLED. I also really wanted it to be an ultra-wide for productivity and immersive gaming. I went with the Aorus 49-inch OLED ultra-wide monitor by Gigabyte. And I have to say, I freaking love this thing. The extra screen real estate lets me work on multiple windows at once, making remote work and video editing so much easier. Plus, the deep blacks and high contrast of the OLED panel make everything look so good. Once you go OLED, there is no going back. I decided to mount it on an arm for the ergonomic flexibility and because I like the floating look it gives your monitor. Since this thing is massive, I needed a monitor arm that could handle the weight. I went with the MSI MPG MT20R, which not only supports up to 44 pounds, but also has cable management channels, a cool mech design, and some built-in RGB lighting that complements the rest of the setup. Mounted on top of the monitor is the BenQ Screen Bar Halo, a sleek monitor light bar designed to reduce eye strain by casting a soft ambient light onto the desk and behind the monitor without causing screen glare. You can control the light temperature, brightness, and even save your preferred settings with this wireless control puck. And for my video calls, I attached BenQ's webcam accessory mount to the top, where I have the OpSpot Tiny 2 Lite 4K webcam. This little webcam is a game changer. It's mounted on a gimbal, meaning it can track my movements and keep me in frame as I move around. OpSpot actually sent this over for me to check out a while ago, and I'm really glad they did. On the outer ends of the light bar, I have these Logitech Litra Glow streaming lights that I also use for my video calls. Moving to under the monitor, I have one of my favorite accessories for any desk setup, a monitor riser. Some people also call them desk shelves, but whatever you call them, they're a must-have for keeping things organized and looking clean. This particular black desk shelf, along with a few other accessories, was sent to me by Reiko. It can add extra storage space to your desk, while also elevating your monitor to a more ergonomic position if it's on a stand. An extra upgrade that I made to the desk shelf is a modular desk rail system that lets me mount some of my most used accessories in a way that makes them appear to be floating in front of it. This system is from a new company called the Workspace Hero, and what's awesome about it is that it's completely modular. You can attach phone holders, tablet holders, headphone holders, or any other accessories they make along the rail. For my setup, I use their MagSafe mount and 2 Apple Watch mounts, so I can dock and charge my iPhone 16 Pro, my Apple Watch 10, and my AirPods 4 in a way that keeps everything clean and accessible. One thing I love about this system is that you can buy the rail and accessories you need, or if you have your own 3D printer, you can buy the files and just print everything yourself. This desk rail system cost me under $40 and I can use it with any desk shelf, making it a great option for anyone on a budget. On top of it and in the center of the monitor riser, I have my Focusrite Vocaster 2 audio interface, which I use for my voiceovers. It can be used to connect up to 2 XLR microphones and headphones to it, and it's very beginner friendly with features like auto gain. In the desk shelf tray, I have a 12.9-inch iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil that I like to use for note-taking and sketching. And I have it in the Apple Magic Keyboard case for when I want to treat it more like a computer on the go. Now, let's talk about the peripherals, because let's be honest, the right keyboard and mouse setup makes a huge difference. For the longest time, I used standard keyboards, but recently I decided to deep dive into the world of custom mechanical keyboards. And now I completely understand why people get so obsessed. My keyboard of choice is the Zoom 75, which is a 75% layout, hot swappable, fully customizable keyboard kit with a black aluminum chassis and a weighted silver mirror finish plate on the back. I built this keyboard myself and chose to use WS Quartz linear pre-lube switches, and I went with white on black GMK keycaps to keep everything on theme with the setup. And I have to say, this keyboard feels and sounds amazing. It can be wired or wireless, and one of my favorite features of the Zoom 75 is the LCD screen in the top right corner. It can display things like battery life, statistics, or even a little animated dog that runs faster as you type faster. But the coolest part is that you can upload your own custom images and animated GIFs to display on it. To make the keyboard feel even more personalized, I added a couple of accent titanium keycaps. I found this escape key on Amazon, but I also picked up a custom artisan titanium Goku keycap from Bob Keycaps. It's such a small detail, but it adds a lot of personality to the setup. I liked it so much I ordered this Gundam one as well, so I can swap them in and out whenever I want to change the theme up a bit. This led me to my next custom upgrade for my keyboard. I have the Zoom 75 wired with a custom aviator coiled USB-C cable by Cable Mods, and I have the coiled part of the cable wrapped around this aluminum metal cable winder. I think they work well as nice accent pieces, while also having a functional use. While this custom cable is a little pricey, I found a great budget alternative that looks almost as good for just $14, so I've linked that down below for you guys as well. Now, since my main keyboard doesn't have a numpad, and I tend to use one for work, I wanted something that I can pull out when needed. So I got this EpoMaker EK21 mechanical numpad and customized it to match my Zoom 75, using the same WS Quartz switches and GMK keycaps. I like that it also has a knob that lets me control various settings from it, like the volume. For the mouse, I'm currently using the Logitech MX Master 3S. The ergonomics are perfect, and the magnetic scroll wheel just feels so good. There's nothing like it. As I prepare to build my new gaming PC, I will be in need of a good gaming mouse as well. So, if you guys have any recommendations, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Next to the keyboard, I have the Amplagame D6 streaming controller, which FineFine sent over for me to check out. It's essentially a budget-friendly alternative to the Elgato Stream Deck, with 15 customizable LCD macro keys that you can use to control programs like OBS, Premiere Pro, Photoshop, and even Spotify. Or you can make your own macros from the ground up. Plus, it's got some nice RGB lighting around it if you're into that. The Amplagame D6 is only $60, versus the $150 you would spend on the similar Elgato Stream Deck MK2. Speaking of productivity, I also have a modern-looking magnetic kitchen timer that I use as a Pomodoro timer on my desk. It's a simple time management method where you work for 25 minutes and then take a short break, making it super easy to stay focused and productive. And since it's magnetic, I can attach it directly to my magnetic desk mat, or place it on my metal pegboards when working on the other side of the desk. Back to the desk mat, the one I'm using is the Hexcal Magnetic Desk Mat Bundle, which they sent me last year. It's made of a premium vegan leather, comes completely flat out of the box, and includes a wrist rest that's soft and very comfortable. The wrist rest is also magnetic, so if I don't feel like using it, I can store it away on my metal pegboards as well. Now, in order to have all my accessories connected to one place, I'm using the BenQ Be-Creatis 1310 Hybrid USB-C docking station, which BenQ had also sent me last year along with their monitor light bar. It's been working really well for my setup. If you're wondering what's powering this setup, I'm currently using my 14-inch M1 MacBook Pro as my main computer, and I also have a Windows laptop that I use for remote work. Instead of keeping them on the desk, I mounted them underneath it using these black stealth brackets that were 3D printed for me by my good friend Steve. These brackets leave the ports on my laptops exposed, making it easy to plug them into my setup with just two USB-C Thunderbolt cables. I think he's convinced me that I would really enjoy a 3D printer of my own. Flanking the main setup, I have what is probably one of the coolest desktop monitor speakers I've ever seen. These are the Edifier QR65s, and they look awesome thanks to their infinity mirror faces with LEDs and sleek angled stands. You can control the color of the lights and choose from different dynamic settings from the Edifier app. And of course, they sound great. To the left of them, I have this headphone stand that was also sent to me by Rayco. They hold my ATH M50X wired monitored headphones that I've had for well over 5 years now. These are a popular option for a reason. They sound amazing. I've also enhanced them by replacing the standard earpads with these comfortable cool gel earpads by Wicked Cushions. It's an affordable way to take your headphones to the next level. Continuing on with my audio gear, over to the right, and between the two spaces, I have my main microphone setup. I'm currently rocking a couple more products that were sent to me by FineFine. I'm using their Tank 3 USB XLR dynamic microphone. It's only $80 and it sounds so good for the price. Actually, this entire voiceover was recorded with this microphone. I have it plugged in with an XLR cable to my audio interface, but if you don't have one, it also works with a USB cable which allows you to use the controls on the mic itself. I originally purchased the Shure SM7DV, and while I love it, I think it may be overkill for an audio beginner like me. It was $500, so I'm debating selling it and using that money to go towards my PC build. My microphone is mounted on their BM66 boom arm, which looks and feels very premium while also being very affordable. It has an easy-to-use cable management channel and can rotate 360 degrees, which makes it so I can use it on either side of the desk. Shifting things over to the right of the setup, this is an area dedicated to building, filming, and testing new tech. The first thing you'll notice is the metal pegboard system mounted to the wall. These are wall control pegboards. What's great about these is that they're metal, meaning I can attach magnetic accessories directly to them, which is not only useful, but really cool. These pegboards also came with all sorts of accessories like shelves, dividers, hooks, hangers, and bins, making them perfect for keeping everything I use organized and within reach. Starting at the top left, I have my PlayStation Portal on a clear acrylic stand. This little device is synced to my PS5 and has become my go-to for portable gaming when I don't want to fire up my main setup. It's also nicknamed the Dad Station, which I'm proud to announce that I can now officially call it that as well. With the latest updates, it can now stream directly from the cloud, meaning I don't even need my PS5 to be on. And for a 1080p LCD display, it actually looks really good and the colors are very vibrant. The ergonomics of the haptic controllers on the sides make it super comfortable to hold, and honestly, after using this, my Switch feels a little outdated in terms of comfort. Next to that, I have a couple of toolkits from a brand called Hoto that I picked up from Amazon. These are modern, minimalistic toolkits that look great in any setup. The first one is a standard toolkit set with everything I need for quick fixes, builds, and adjustments. And the second is a precision electronic screwdriver kit, which comes in handy for building PCs, modding keyboards, and repairing tech. Under one of the shelves, I have a magnetic Amaran MC mini light, which I use as an extra fill light when filming product shots. I love that it's wireless and magnetic, so I can quickly attach it to any metal surfaces or just use the 1/4-inch threads to attach it to any of my tripods. And under that, I have a couple of these portable hard drives from SanDisk. These are 1 and 2 terabyte SSDs, and I use them for storing footage and transferring large files between devices. Eventually, I'd love to set up a NAS system for better storage management, but for now, these SSDs will get the job done. Right next to that, I have a few frequently used cables hanging on hooks and a magnetic USB-C charging cable from Hexcal. If you haven't tried magnetic charging cables yet, you're missing out. Not only do they eliminate cable clutter, but they also mean there is a 0 chance of a tangled mess. In the storage bins below, I have some small accessories, including my AOHi GaN fast charger with their Future Racing cable set that they sent me, and a Pelican SD card case. Also stored in the bins is the last item that was sent to me by FineFine. This is their wireless lav mic system. And while I'm still in the middle of testing these, I am already super impressed by their price to performance ratio. This system comes with 2 wireless lav mics, a receiver, and a rechargeable carrying case along with some extra accessories, all for just $60. And you can use these with anything: your camera, your computer, or even your phone. Now, moving over to the next pegboard, I have one of my favorite display pieces, a miniature Buster Sword replica from one of my favorite games that I picked up from an artist on Etsy. And below that, I have this N1F Pro 15-inch portable 1080p monitor from a company called Innocent. They sent this over for me to check out, and while it's marketed as a travel touchscreen monitor, I mainly use it as a secondary display for the space. I have it connected to my docking station, and I use it to watch content while I work here or follow tutorials when I'm building something. Overall, I think it's a really nice display and very easy to travel with if that's what you're going to use it for. Under that, I have a magnetic tool holder that holds various tools like my cutter, a couple of unboxing knives, and a keycap and switch puller. On the desktop itself, I placed a self-healing reversible cutting mat that acts as both a workspace and a filming surface. At the back of the desk, I installed a clamp-on power strip that has 3 AC outlets, 2 USB-A ports, and 2 USB-C ports. This makes it super easy to test new gadgets and keep everything powered up without having to reach under the desk. On either side of the power strip, I placed a pair of Govee Smart light bars. These not only add some cool accent lighting, but I can also reposition them with these stands to use as product lights for cinematic shots. To the left of the setup, I keep a motorized turntable display stand that I use for slow rotating product shots. It's perfect for review videos, and I can adjust the speed depending on how dramatic I want the spin to look. And on the far right, I have one of my favorite gadgets in this setup, the Devoom Pixu 64 digital display. This thing is pure nostalgia. It connects to their app, where you can browse a massive library of animated retro pixel art or even upload and create your own designs. I use it to mainly display animated pixel art, subscriber count milestones, and even as a music visualizer. It's just one of those cool little extras that adds a ton of personality to the space. Moving over to the pegboard behind them, I have a couple of these 2-foot-long tube lights. These are the Amaran P2 TCs, and they come with these magnetic holders with 1/4-inch threads on them. They can create any color in any hue and get really bright. Also nearby are the tripod stands for these tube lights. This makes it easy for me to pull them out and place them anywhere in the studio to help light whatever I'm filming. I also have one of them with a grid box on it so that I can concentrate the light even more. And since they're also from Amaran, that means that I can control them with the same Sidus Link app like the other lights. Now, a clean desk setup is only possible if you manage your cables properly, and I wanted this setup to be as clutter-free as possible. I took some inspiration from Kaimar Salizi's desk setup and installed these 2 server rack cable channels under the desk. These channels allow me to route all my cables neatly while also letting me access them easily. Behind the channels, I mounted a heavy-duty surge protector which powers everything on this desk. From there, I used a combination of Velcro straps, zip ties, guides, and black cable sleeves to try and keep everything secured and hidden. If you're looking to clean up your own cable situation, you can actually get a 311-piece cable management kit on Amazon for under $20. And last but not least, let's talk about one of the most underrated parts of any desk setup: your chair. A setup can look as clean and high-end as possible, but if you're uncomfortable sitting at it for long hours, then what's the point? That's why I made sure to invest in one of the best ergonomic chairs out there, the Steelcase Leap. Now, this isn't a budget chair at all. Brand new, the Steelcase Elite B2 goes for over $1,200 and can easily surpass $2,000. But if you're looking to pick one up without breaking the bank, I highly recommend checking Facebook Marketplace or your local office furniture resellers. Your back will thank you. To enhance my seating ergonomics even further, I got this footrest from IKEA. It's called the Degato. This small but impactful addition makes a huge difference in my comfort by helping reduce fatigue, improving your posture, and increasing the circulation in your legs. The platform has a non-slip texture, and you can adjust the angle by just pressing your feet against it. But if I'm being real with you, I like that it really matches the vibe of my setup with its black and steel materials. Now, while no setup is ever fully finished, I'm going to consider this one complete for the moment. But I'm already planning the next big things for this channel. And one of these things is to address a comment I constantly get on the build video. A setup like this deserves a beast of a gaming PC, and I agree 100%. And as soon as I can get my hands on a 5090, I'll finally be able to build my first PC and share the process on the channel. So if you're not subscribed yet, now is the time. I think you'll find a lot of inspiration for your own setups. Thank you to all the brands that contributed towards this build, and more importantly, thank you guys for taking the time to watch my content. And if you want to see some other sick setups, check out one of these next two videos here.